Before it, we need to talk. For example, if you grow up in South Africa in the late 90s or early 2000s, your weekend ritual was different. You didn't just wake up to watch EPSL. You woke up to watch the whole world. You turn to English Premier League. You see Lucas Radebe. He's a captain of Leeds United. You switch to Eredivisie. Now Pega or Bono Steven Pienaar. He's orchestrating the midfield for Ajax Amsterdam. You watch Champions League. Obono Penny. Upeni Makat is lifting the trophy in Porto. We didn't just watch European football. We were part of the European football. Our flag was stitched into the fabric of the biggest leagues in the world. We were there, Besida. But fast forward to today, January 2026, look at the team sheets of the big five leagues: England, Spain, Germany, Italy, and France. The South African flag has become it has become a ghost. We have effectively vanished from the elite level of the global game. Sesiphumile vele gaming as a neutral or as a observer of the beautiful game. This decline isn't just sad, it is statistically alarming. For example, Buffett, in 2024, South Africa had over 15 players registered in the top tier European competitions. Like 15 top tier European competitions. Cover vandaag, today. We celebrate if a player manages to get minutes in the Belgian second division or American MLS. Buffett. So, magtanake, kwenzakalini? What went wrong, Buffett? Did the talent disappear? Or maybe mzansi amanzi sekatshentshile? Or is there a deeper, more economic sickness at play? Buffett. Because today, our football, it's getting more fans, but our players are no longer recommended. For example, today we are going to strip away the emotions and look at the cold hard data. We are investigating the valuation trap or a comfort zone in South Africa, or the uncomfortable truth about why European scouts have stopped booking flight to Johannesburg. This is the story of how South Africa lost its seat at the table of the world football. So in the story ngayo vandaag. Uyenze simple Buffett. To understand why players aren't leaving, we first have to follow the money. And the data leads us to a paradox. The Premier Soccer League is a victim of its own success, like a PSL, it's a victim of its own success. The PSL is financially speaking a giant on the African continent. It is one of the only leagues in Africa that can pay players at first world salary in developing economy. EPSL is the only league in Africa that can pay players their first world salary. So now let's look at the valuation trap, which is in 2026, a top player of Mamelodi Sundowns, Kaizer Chiefs, or like Orlando Pirates. Let's take Teboho Mokoena or Kulisho Mudau, type of a profile of a player. Can earn anywhere between 400 to 800,000 a month. Comfortable, no stress. That is a life of luxury. You are a king in Soweto. You drive up a top-range German car. You live in a gated estate, and you are close to your family. Like, who didn't want it? Now, compared to the other offer from Europe, a mid-tier team in Sweden, Denmark, or Switzerland, which is usually the stepping stone to the big leagues, cannot match those net wages for a new signing. Like, they might offer 4,000 euros a month for a trialist or unproven signing. But mathematically, if it makes no sense for a 26-year-old PSL star to take 60% pay cut to go freezing Scandinavia for a chance at success, when they have guaranteed wealth at home, very like they are already 26, and reality Scandinavia, like countries like Norway, Denmark, and stuff. And Makazada, of course, they won't take a 60% pay cut just to play there. These are their golden handcuffs. The PSL, the PSL pays too well for an average player to leave. PSL ipatala kahle bafethu. But the players aren't good enough yet to command millions from Real Madrid or Manchester City immediately. We have priced ourselves at what can we say? We have priced ourselves out of the market. European clubs operate on value, right? So why would a Belgian club pay 40 million for a 27-year-old South African when they can get a 19-year-old Brazilian or Senegalese player for 10 million? Why? Why? It doesn't make sense for them. The economics simply do not work. We are too expensive for development leagues and leagues not good enough for the elite leagues. We are too expensive for the developing leagues and not good enough for the elite leagues. Kahle sidure kakhulu for ama-league aziphandelayo lapha e-Europe. But at the same time, asikho good enough ukuthi singayodlala like Real Madrid and all those things. So that is why teams have stopped buying players in South Africa. We are stuck in the midfield, kahle. And this, it is killing our national team. It is killing our national team. And another thing, there's the thing of age deception. There is another data point that is painful to admit. South African football has a warped perception of time. In PSL, we frequently hear commentators describe a 24 or 25-year-old player as a promising young star. Can you think of that? We treat players in their mid-20s as if they are still developing and they are supposed to be at their prime. In Europe, the timeline is brutal. By 23, if you haven't broken through, you're often considered a senior pro or even too old for a high-value transfer. Look at the global stars of the last decade. Haaland, Mbappe, Bellingham, Yamal. They were world-class teenagers. Vinny McCarthy didn't go to France at 25, Bafit. He went to Ajax Amsterdam when he was 20. Steven Pienaar went at 19 years. Lucas Radebe went at 25, but he was a defense anomaly. Like, he was defense, like, blind, out of So today, PSL clubs hold on to their talent for too long. They wait until a player is 26 or 27, has won a few local trophies, and they try to sell him. But try But to a European scout, a 27-year-old with no international experience, international experience, is a depreciating asset. Like uzomsap naselana 27, because by the time atomukonagala ana 30, isabanga sanayo that thing le. So there is no resale value. The data shows that West African nations, Senegal, Ghana, Ivory Coast, or Nigeria, export their players at the age of 17 or 18. They send them to Europe before they are famous. South Africa waits until they are famous locally. And by then, the train has already left the station. So we are trying to sell finished product to a market that only wants raw materials. I don't know if it makes sense, Buffett. And another thing, Enya, that I would like to discuss or share to you, there's this thing as a tactical and cultural gap. We also have to discuss the uncomfortable topic of football culture versus football industry. Like, the football culture versus the city football industry. There is a romantic idea in South Africa about gassy flavor. Like, we all know that. Talk about the standard disc, we know that. They call it gassy flavor. The flair, the show putting, the individual brilliance. It is interesting. It puts bumps on seat like, but it does not. But does it win matches in Bundesliga? No. Buffett. Isha for lama video where social media, but it doesn't win leagues in Bundesliga. European football have evolved into a game of extreme efficiency. Dimension bafuni efficiency. It is robotic, systematic, and high pressing. The data highlights a metric called time on the ball. The vibe is time on the ball. In the Premier League, players release the ball under 1.5 seconds on average. Players release the ball 1.5 seconds on average. In the PSL, players often dwell in the ball for 3 seconds or more, looking for the perfect option or a moment of skill. Wow, like this is wow. 1.5 seconds on average in the Premier League. But you go to PSL, on average, the statistics says the players will hold the ball at least for 3 seconds. Wow. When South African players arrive in Europe for trials in 2026, they will often struggle not with talent. Our players are incredibly gifted, but the cognitive speed of the game, it's kind of a problem. They are used to a rhythm that allows for a prayer. They want a pause. But Buffet, Europe is a sprint, Buffet. Scouts there, bias this thing, they know this. They view the PSL as a league that is tactically slow. This stigma, Buffet. This stigma has hurt us. It means that when a scout looks at a South African midfielder, they automatically assume the player will need 12 months to adapt to the tempo. Naran, the player will start to be useful to them after 12 months because by then they will be adapting to the tempo. So in modern football, time is money. And the clubs don't have 12 months to wait for a signing to get up to speed. They want to plug and play. Bafuni plug and play. They want plug and play soldiers. No artist who need a specific canvas to paint on, Buffett. So, another thing, Buffett, city bureaucracy. Work permit. We cannot ignore the red tape, Nakon. Since Brexit and the changes in the EU labor laws, I want to mention this because it's important. It has become significantly harder for South African players to get into the Premier League directly. So, this is what we call EGPE. It stands for the Governing Body Endorsement. The system relies on FIFA rankings. So, because Bafana has spent the last decade hovering outside the top 50 in the world rankings, so our players do not automatically qualify for web permits. Directly, it's a factor. This creates a vicious cycle. Our players can't go to England because our national team ranking is very low. So our national team ranking is low because our players aren't playing in the top leagues like England, France, and all those things. In the early 2000s, Bafana was a top 20 nations. Now, because we were a top 20 nation, that opened doors. Other players like Lucas Hatebe could walk into Leeds. Quinton Fortune could walk into Manchester United. Today, a player like Liel Forster had to go to a long route. From Orlando Pirates to France, to Belgium, to Championship, just to earn the right play, just to earn a right to play. The pathways become a maze, and most players comfortably with their high PSL salaries simply look at the maze and decide it is not worth it, Buffett. But by is not worth it because salary and all those things. I think it's about GPE, they will make you understand. So now, one may ask, okay, in fact, we hear you. Now, what can we do? What can we do to fix this? Can we fix this? Is it possible to fix it? Now, so as we sit here in January 2026, what is the solution here? How do we reopen the pipeline? See Vulajan, the pipeline. The answer lies will sacrifice, Buffett. There's something that we need to sacrifice. PSL clubs need to accept lower transfer fees to get players into Europe at the younger ages. They need to prioritize the long-term benefit of South African football over the short-term benefit of their balance sheet. We need to send our 18-year-olds to Belgium, Portugal, and the Netherlands, even if it's for small money. And for the players, no? They need to regain hunger. They've lost the hunger. They need to be willing to leave their VIP section of Santen to fight for a spot on a muddy pitch in Eastern Europe. The comfort zone is the enemy of greatness, Buffett. As we all know that. But we have the talent, Buffett. We have the passion. But until we fix the economics and the mindset, the days of seeing a South African captain or Premier League side will remain inganekwane, Buffett. Izinto esisoyiswela abantwana bethu ukuthi hayi bewune-captain njalo 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 njalo. And we need to see that now because we love football, we love the beautiful game. If you've enjoyed this deep dive into your reality of our game, please like and subscribe. Buffett. The subscribe will really mean a lot to this channel because we want to grow this channel to talk about these things that are sensitive and not just like seeking a pace. We want to get deep into it. Let's start a conversation in the comments, Buffett. I want to see you in the comments. Share your opinion. I want share with you how can our South African football industry can improve izinto ezinjalo. Is the PSL Sarar culture destroying our chances in Europe, or should we be proud that we keep our talent at home? So ile channel lesikiwe Bafethu, and I hope you enjoy the content. Yizo yilele.